Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Darren and welcome to my next stitch with me. So I hope you're all well and keeping safe and enjoying the long, by the time you're watching this, enjoyed the long weekend. So we're going to get on with stitching. Today I'm working on my brother's pace, which is the Whitetail Winter. So I haven't got a picture of that one yet, so I can't show you what that one looks like because I haven't printed it off. But I'm sure you've seen it on my last update video. So I've got a couple of questions to go through today as well. So let's get into stitching. So again, you may hear the cockatoos. They are being again extra noisy today. But it's probably because it's been raining. I don't know if you just heard that one then. So yeah, so it's been raining a fair bit since last night. So I just had to sort my thread out. So yeah, it's been raining a fair bit since last night. So not bad to say it was meant to be raining most of last week, and we never really got any of it. And then it's meant to be brightening up this over the weekend, and it started raining. But never mind. I hope you can see the colour I've picked here. It's a pale grey, number 648. Obviously, you'll see it more when more stitching in. So I'm doing the stitches together. So this one was a new start that I started on the 1st. So I started 2 new ones on the 1st. So this one and the North American mammal one. I've just got a couple of little start to them, and then I'll do some more throughout the week. I just wanted to get them started, so I can say I started them on the 1st. So, quick update for you then with regards to my mum. She's doing okay. Spoke to her last night, because obviously today's Sunday. And she goes for her 2nd jab. So she was there, I think it was 5 o'clock last night, getting her 2nd jab. So she's happy because it means now that she can go out. So my brother's already said he'll take her out at some point. Whether he does or not is a completely different thing. So yeah, so other than that, she's doing all good. Alright, so let's get into the questions. So the first one is from Danielle. I want to know, how do I keep track of all the challenges that I'm taking part in? I'm not in that many challenges, really. I'm in the Full Coverage Fanatics, and the only challenge I'm doing in there is the Bookshelf Challenge, which is the one I'm working on my supersized Tiger of the Family on. So that one's pretty easy. I've just got those wrote down, so as soon as I get to those stitch counts, I know I've done that part, and then I just, sorry if you heard that, that was Kitty. As soon as I've reached the targets I need to on there, just go in and post and come out of it. The other one I'm doing is the Enchanted Stitching. Oops, that was when you're not leaning on your thread. Yeah, the Enchanted Stitching group. Now that one, I haven't done any challenges in there for, I think it's 2 months. I was just too busy concentrating on sorting other things out, and the challenges on there I wasn't really into. That one is all based on like Disney movies and stuff like that. So I wasn't really interested in the ones that they were doing on there, so I just dropped out for two months on that one. But this month's ones are the Marvel movies, so I'll be participating in those. Now they do like stitching challenges, as well as like you have to watch the movies while stitching as well. Now the downside to that one is I just finished watching all the movies that they'd already put down in that one, because I decided I was going to watch the Marvel movies in the order that they're meant to be watched in. So I'm not going back and rewatching the movies again just so I can complete those challenges. So I'll just do the stitching ones. I've just put that one in the wrong spot. Hey, oh look, another stitch with me with a frog. And what are the challenges I'm doing? I'm doing the challenge with Natalie, which is just the stitching on the dolphin piece. So that one's not really hard to keep track of. I'm just stitching a dolphin. That's it. So yeah, so that one's not hard at all. So that one I just work on that maybe one day a week, just getting some stitches so that it's done. I'm also in another group. I can't remember the name of the group. That one's not too bad. It's a newish group that started up, and basically you're building a settlement, and you have to stitch to get supplies, and then there's monsters that pop up every now and then, and you have to stitch so many to kill that one as a team. That one's not going too bad, that one. We have a messenger chat group going off on there, and that one's pretty fun. But they like to enable you. With all the pieces that they're doing, it's like, ooh, I like that one. Ooh, I like that one. So, yeah, I'm going to be skinned by the time I finish in that group. And I think that's the only challenges. And then obviously I've got my Sal that I'm doing along with Stacey, 911 Stitcher. Got that one going along there as well. So I just haven't wrote down so I don't remember what I'm doing. But other than that, I don't really participate in too many challenges. Oh yeah, then there's this one which will be on the 30-day challenge with the Cross Stitch Studio, which is to stitch 30 minutes per day on a piece of theirs. So hope that answers your question there, Danielle. What we got next? So the next one is from June, who asks, wonder if I can get a picture of a cockatoo. I will try, June. Have you ever tried stitching hand with the sewing method? So, yes, I have. My Northern Lights, which is the wolf one that I restarted. When I first started doing that one, I used to stitch in hand. And that's how I used to do it with the kind of sewing method. Well, my version of the sewing method, anyway. So yes, I have done stitching in hand. That's how I used to do all mine. I never really used to use hoops or anything like that. And then I started using hoops, and it's like, ooh, fabric is a lot, obviously, tighter, so it was easy to kind of use. And then I found the two-handed stitching method, and that was it. I went to Q-Snaps, got my frame, my Lowry stand. That was me. But yeah, I didn't mind stitching in hand at all. But as I say, I've not done it for a long time now. I think maybe once I finish this thread I might change the colour out, because you can't really see what I'm stitching here. It's the only thing when you've got like the light colours. So this part that I'm doing here is like a silver birch tree. So obviously it's white. Maybe I should have moved a bit further on and picked the blue or something, so that you could just see what I was stitching. See, this is kind of like the white tiger one that I'm going to redo on the piece of Picture This Plus. It was like the colours were that light that I couldn't see the stitching. This one at least I can see the stitching once I've got like a couple together. But that one I just couldn't see them at all, because it was like white on white. next? Again, another one from Danielle. Have you ever thought about the Animal Panorama by Pain Free Crafts? She's currently working on that one for Monogamania. But it's confetti hell, she says. So, that one, yes, it is on my wish list. I think I mentioned this one last time. I may have answered this question before. In fact, I think I have. Yeah, well, maybe I forgot to delete the message. But yes, the Animal Panorama one is absolutely stunning. It's all different animals. So koalas, tigers, all sorts. So yes, I'm going to be doing that one at some point. Because if I remember correctly, I answered this one last time because I told you I'd joined the Pain Free Crafts club where you pay, well, for me it's $20 a month, so £10 a month. And at the end of it, you get a voucher to get a chart worth $75, but you only pay $60 for it. Well, not a chart, a kit, sorry. And then you just pay any extra for shipping or whatever, if it comes outside your voucher amount. So yes, I think I remember answering that one. Maybe I should have deleted some of these. This one is from Marzipan Stitcher. Do you do the tent stitch the same direction as your bottom leg or as your top leg? So, if I'm doing tent stitch, I do it in the same direction as the bottom leg. Let me just mark what I've done. I don't want to forget. So yeah, I always do it the same direction as the bottom leg of my stitch. I just find it looks neat to doing it that way. For some reason, I don't know why. Doing it like how I do so I do it this way, which is the bottom leg of my stitch. If I do it the other way, the top leg of my stitch, I don't think it looks as neat for some reason. I don't know why. So yeah, but I do it the bottom leg way. I just find it lays a lot neater. Just do this last one here, and then I'll get the next question, just so I can see where I am. Everything as well when you're stitching with grey, on the pre-gridded ones you stitch on the line and you can't really see it very well. But never mind. Right. So, next question. I found out what those birds are called. If you watch my last video, there's the bird attacking my mirror, and it's called a grey-crowned babbler. So that's what it is. Again, another one from Danielle. Your work is amazing. How do you manage to get so many stitches done each week? And how many hours do you stitch a day? So, how I get so many stitches a week, I have no idea. I just stitch. Now, weekends is my quiet time, if you like. So, that's when I get most of my stitching done. I don't go out very often, so not wanting to, but 9 out of 10 Shane's got the car and he's disappeared somewhere, either down to his mum's or over to his sister's, so I just sit and stitch. So how many hours I stitch a day just depends on whether we've got people coming over to visit for coffee, because as you know, when they come for coffee, they're never here for just like half an hour, they're here for hours. But normally, on a weekend, Saturday and Sundays, I'll probably maybe stitch maybe 8 hours, ish. So that's over the day, so I'll do a bit of stitching, then I'll stop and have a break and do housework or wherever, and then come back and do a bit more stitching. And so yeah, so generally over the weekends I mainly do around about 8 hours a day. Throughout the week, obviously because of work, I can't stitch as much as I want to. So I get in from work is normally around about, well, it used to be around about 4:30, but because we have roadworks, we always get caught in the roadworks on the way home. It's normally around about 5 o'clock now when I get in. So it's kind of get in and then feed the cats, go for a shower, feed myself. So it's normally maybe about 6:30 when I start stitching. 9 out of 10 is probably around about 6 when I start, and then I stitch for 2 hours. Sometimes 2.5, but 9 out of 10 I finish around about 8 o'clock, stitching 8 o'clock. That's Monday through Thursday. Friday we finish earlier, so Friday we finish at 1 o'clock. So I'm normally home for about 2:30. Depends if we're doing any shopping. We used to do food shopping on a Thursday, but we've changed that now because we've got obviously Shane's sister working with us. So we normally bring her home so she can go and pick up her daughter from school. So we normally go shopping on a Friday now. So Friday, by the time we get home, I would say it's probably going to be around about 3:30. So again, I'll start stitching from maybe about 4:30 and stitch till 8 o'clock. So that's about 4 hours on a Friday. Again, that just depends on what's happening, if we've got any plans or not. So that's how many hours I stitch a day or week, however you want to put it. Let's go up and do these one. So next, so this one is from Carol, who asked, have you ever temporarily lost interest in cross stitching? The answer to that is yes, but I generally don't lose interest in it for too long. I've done it a couple of times where I've picked up my stitching and thought I just really cannot be bothered with this. And it's like doing floss tube, kind of makes you want to stitch because you want to show progress of what you've been doing. People following you to see your progress, so you're like, I really need to do some stitching, but sometimes you just can't be bothered. I mean, a couple of times I've picked up a piece, put in maybe 20 stitches and put it down. I thought, I can't be bothered, I'll do some another day. I've never actually lost the full stitchy bug where I've gone like weeks without stitching. I've never done that. It's just been like the odd 1 or 2 days where I've like, you just don't feel it, so I've not done any stitching. But I enjoy stitching, so kind of relaxing. Gives me something to do anyway. Because Shane, on an evening, Shane will sit outside with the cats and sit watching rubbish on TikTok and YouTube, and he's into all the car stuff, so I'll sit and watch car rubbish, and I'm not into cars, so it doesn't bother me. So while he's out there with the cats, I'll sit in here and stitch. So yeah, so a long way around it. No, I've not really lost interest in stitching. I enjoy stitching. Sometimes it's hard figuring out what to stitch, but I will pick up a piece and start stitching. It's like, no, I'm not feeling this one, and then I might swap it out and stitch something else. It just depends, I suppose, what section you're working in. Christian. So this one is from Jen, who asked, I was wondering, with all your full coverage pieces, do you buy DMC cones on certain popular colours? I haven't done. I have actually thought about it, especially like 310. Because one of the pieces I've got to work on needs, what was it now? I think it was something like 40 skeins of 310. So it's like, yeah, I might buy a cone of that one. But it seems to be like certain colours that you need a lot of, like 310, 939, 3371, and 37919 seem to the main colours that seem to be used an awful lot just lately. So, I mean, I can get the cones. I think from JK's where I get all my stuff from. I think they sell for $30, I think. So I suppose I can get the cones, but I'll probably wait until I finally get some of my craft room done to get those, so I can keep them away from the cats. Because I'm pretty sure they'll probably like to play with the cones. I say they don't touch the skeins. They never have done. Kitty's run off with, I've got like a ball of pearl cotton for my hard hanger. Kitty's run off with that before. But they've never bothered with the skeins of floss. So yeah, so I have thought about getting the cones for certain colours, but I just haven't got around to doing it yet. Plus the fact that I keep buying fabric instead of floss. So maybe I should concentrate on getting some cones rather than fabric. Right, any more questions? Oh, now this one is from Susan. So let me just say what I've done. This one, she's asking how you upload a HAID into Pattern Keeper. She's bought 3 but doesn't know how to get them loaded up. So let me just zoom out. So this is for you, Susan. Right, so these are obviously all my charts on Pattern Keeper. So in Pattern Keeper, you go down to where it says plus, and then open PDF, and this will open up. Now mine's already set for my HAID page, so this will open up all your HAID stuff. Now, I think I've probably got most of these already loaded into Pattern Keeper, but I can load one in again, it's not a problem. Let's do this one. So you just tap on the one that you want, and then it will automatically start loading in. Sorry, you can probably see my camera in there. So that's all it is. You just do that, and then it will load everything up. Depending on obviously how many pages it is, depends on how long it takes. The supersized ones take a little bit longer, obviously well, especially the Tiger one. That's 102 pages, I think, so that took a while. So I'll go through and read everything on there. There you go. And then it'll ask you to verify your chart. So you click verify, and it will bring up a mock-up of the piece. And there are all your DMC numbers. And then all you do is go onto your PDF, and then you can scroll down and make sure that the pieces all line up. And then once you've done that, you just click the bottom arrow there, and that's it loaded. So it's all in. If you've got a paper copy, then there is a way of doing it by taking a photo of it, but obviously you'd have to print every single page off to take a photo of it to put it all in. So you probably, with that, you're best off purchasing the chart as a PDF and then importing it that way. So I hope that helps Susan. But obviously if you've got any problems with that, just get in contact with me and I'll help you out the best I can. And I think Annette asked, I showed my scissors, my new scissors in my update video, the Gingers. Now those scissors are absolutely amazing. So I used them yesterday. So I've had them a couple of days, but I've not used them yet. So I used them yesterday to cut this piece of fabric, and it was just like cutting through butter with them. They are so sharp. So yeah, I need to be careful because you know where I'm like for that injuring myself. But those are so sharp and amazing. So I would highly recommend those. As Annette says, people need enabling and like to buy scissors. So I got them from Amazon. So just Google. I just search on Amazon for Gingers. So that's Gingher, and it will bring up. There's a fair few different varieties of them, which I didn't even know about them. And the ones I've got are dressmaking scissors. I think the dressmaking scissors. Give me 2 seconds. I'll just reach for them. So, yeah, they're called knife edge dressmaking shears. I've got the 7-inch ones. You can get 8-inch. You can get loads of different variety ones as well. But these ones I were recommended for because of how good they are, and they really are excellent. So I would highly recommend a pair of those if you've got a lot of fabric or hanks. So yes, I would highly recommend getting a pair of those. So as I say, June recommended them for me and got me the pair. So I've got to say, depending which country you're in, depending what type you can get. So obviously those pair I got there, I had to go on to just Amazon.com, so which is America, I believe. And the ones I really wanted, you can't get on that one. You could only get them from the Amazon Australia, which is very strange. So yeah, so depending where you're from, depending on which ones you can get, but highly recommend the dressmaking shear ones. They are awesome. So I've got the rest of my other fabrics to cut up that I purchased to do all the starts that I wanted to do. So I may do that later on today. May. Then again, I may not. I may just concentrate on my stitching. But yeah, they are definitely well worth the money. And I think that's the last question. Yes, so that's the last question that I got. So I had a couple this time. So what's that taking us to? 30 minutes. So now 30 minutes of rambling. I was going to mention something to you, but I can't remember what I was going to say. It's always the case. You think of something and you think, oh, I'll mention that in a minute after I've mentioned this part, and then I completely forgot. No, it's completely gone out of my head. Must be one of those days today. Never mind. So, Shane disappeared today. He's gone with his sister. They've gone shopping. But there's a place over here called Super Butcher. I think that's what they're called. That does cheaper meat, because meat over here is not cheap. So they do meat for cheaper, but you're buying like bulk. So he's gone there, and then they're calling in at a nursery on the way back to have a look at plants, because they want to see about getting some. His sister, I think, is after some orchids. She's seen some online, some orchids and dahlias that she's seen online on eBay. So she wants to see if she can get anything like that from the garden centre. So she's gone looking for that. So I would have gone with them because I like looking at the orchids and everything. Bear with me just 2 seconds. Sorry about that. The boys were fighting in the bedroom. So yeah, so as I was saying, they're going to a garden centre to see what they can find. So no doubt you'll probably phone me later to tell me that they've got some orchids that he wants. Well, not that he wants, for me. I like my orchids. In the UK, I had a fair few orchids. How many did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I had about 15 orchids over in the UK. So I enjoy growing the orchids. When I left there, my brother decided to slim them down and picked a couple that he liked, and all the rest he binned. Very nice of him. So I've got one orchid here at the moment in the house, and that one is just a Phalaenopsis, and at the moment it's got no flowers on it because it's grown some baby orchids. So I'm just waiting for them to get the roots on them so I can take them off, and then I'll have 3 orchids. And then outside we've got an orchid as well, an outdoor orchid. That's in the ground. That's a big orchid, that one. Orange stems on it. So that's one thing I like about over here in Australia. You can actually grow your orchids outside. You don't have to have them all inside. But yeah, I do like my plants. I never used to do, because I used to suffer from hay fever really badly. And as I say, I've got used to doing gardening, and my hay fever doesn't really bother me so much now. So yes, I like my gardening. So my favourite plants are lilies, dahlias. And those two are my favourite ones. So I've got a couple of lilies here growing. I've got a lily. Well, it's meant to be a lily tree, but it doesn't look like the one I've got over in the UK. So in the UK, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lily trees. What they're called, well, tree lilies, I think they're called. They grow up to like 2 meters tall or something like that. So I've got them, and then, but over here I've just got your normal oriental lilies, which are the smelly ones with the pink and white, and then I've got some white ones and some yellow ones, I think. So they're outside. Dahlias, I haven't got any of those at the moment. I've tried growing them here, but for some reason I just can't get them to last. They'll grow a bit, flower once, and then die. So I don't know what's... Obviously, I know it's a different climate compared to in the UK, so I don't know what to do over here to keep them growing. But I will get that sorted out. And then I've got some Amaryllis outside as well. So one in a pot outside, and I think I've got 2 or 3 in the ground. So obviously for Amaryllis over in the UK, you can't keep them outside because the frost and that kills them off. So they've got to be like in greenhouses or in pots that you bring inside. But over here we're quite lucky. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. You can actually leave them in the ground. Now obviously, if you know Amaryllis, they're the ones that they normally bring out near Christmas times, well, in the UK anyway. Now over here they need the cold in order to get prepared for flowering again, so so they can rest. So over here it does get cold enough, so it gets down to, well, the coldest I've known it here was -1. So that's during the night, but then it warms up during the day. So it normally gets up to like 20s again during the day. So it is good for, it still gives them the time that they need for the cold snap to, you can't even see what I was teaching there, to sort themselves out. So yeah, so as soon as the leaves turn yellowish, I cut them off and then just wait for it to warm up again, and then I get some more flowers. So the only downside to it is you've got to keep on top of the watering over here when they are flowering, because they dry out really, really fast. The last one that I've got, the one that's in the pot, that one flowered, and the flowers only lasted like a week and then died because it was so hot over here. Where normally they last a fair while, the Amaryllis flowers. But yeah, so I do enjoy my flowers, but obviously in here you can't get as many varieties of what you normally get over in like the UK. You see certain ones, it's like, yeah, I'm not really bothered about them ones. A lot of them over here are like succulents, so I don't mind succulents, but I'm not very good at keeping them. I think with the succulents I overwater them. You should forget that the succulents don't like a lot of water, and I always seem to overwater them, so they always seem to die. So I just don't know how often you're meant to water succulents. So they just get watered whenever I'm watering. Now here as well, when we moved in, there's a couple of rose bushes. So we've got about 6 rose bushes here as well, which I don't mind. I like roses. But we've got a couple of them are climbing roses, and a couple of them are just normal shrub roses. But the owner of the property lives next door. Now, every now and then you'll come back and the rose bushes have been cut back. So I don't know if it's the owner or if it's his wife who comes over and does them. So they mulch them all up and cut them all back. But they always seem to come and cut them back as they're getting ready to flower. So every now and then you'll get flowers, and sometimes you won't get any because they keep coming and cutting them back. But they always seem to do it whenever I think, oh, I'm going to cut these back, trim them back a bit. They must know when I'm going to trim them back, and they always come and just hack them back all the way to near enough to the ground. So, but yeah, the climbing ones, I did have it when we first moved in. One was going really well, so I thought, I know, I'll get that running through the railings of the veranda. So I started tying one in, and then come back a couple of days later, and it was all hacked back. It's like, okay then. So I don't even know what colour the climbing ones are, because they've never flowered, because every time they get long enough, they get hacked. And we've got some geraniums in pots and that here as well. Now those seem to go all year round, them over here, which is good. You don't have to worry about moving stuff inside here, which is what I like. Because over in the UK, you just have a greenhouse, so it's like when you come to autumn time, you dug everything up, or if they were in pots, you moved them all into greenhouse and to overwinter them and hope that they survive. Over here, you just leave everything in the ground, which is really, really good. So that's a long way around just saying Shane's going to the garden centre. He seems to keep bringing back houseplants. I don't mind houseplants, but he just brings back all foliage ones. I like ones that have flowers on. So we'll see what he gets. Oh, I think it was last week. Yeah, I told you he was going to get some frangipani cuttings. Yeah, he came back with, you might as well say, half a tree of frangipanis. He loaded the boot up of the car with all these frangipani cuttings. And it's like, what the heck do you need all those for? We've got no room to put them. You know, I'll put them in some pots and stuff like that. It's like, well, fair enough. But read up online on how to propagate them, and it says, oh, you only need like 18-inch pieces. We'll just leave them for a couple of weeks for them to callus over and then just stick them in the ground. Well, he cut all these branches up into 18-inch pieces, and I'm not kidding you, we must have about 40 or more pieces of frangipani cuttings on the veranda, drying out, ready to be planted. It's like, where the heck are you going to put all these? And then he still keeps looking online. It's like, oh, look at this one. This one would be a nice one to have. So yeah, it would be, but we don't need any more frangipani cuttings. But you know for a fact he's going to come back with more. I don't know where we're going to put them. The garden stroke flower bed things that we've got here are not very big. Maybe about 8 foot long by about 2 foot wide. That's about it. And there's 2 of them. So yeah, I don't know where he's going to put them on. But he has found one of the people we work with. He's moving home, and this is where we're getting the sofa off. And he's got a load of pots that he said we can have as well. So Shane's seen all those, so we're getting all these pots. So again, no idea where everything's going to go. Luckily, we've got a big veranda, and it goes 3/4 of the way around the house, so we can probably put some on there. There's only so many pots you can have. So we have a long weekend this weekend, because it's May Day, or Labour Day, whatever you want to call it. So I've got a 3-day weekend. We had a 3-day weekend last weekend, because it was Anzac Day. And then next week I don't get a 3-day weekend, but I get 3 days off again next week. So I get the Saturday, Sunday as normal. And then we have the power company coming on Wednesday. So they're upgrading the network. So I don't know what they're doing. So the power is going to be off from 8:30 in the morning till at least 2:30 in the afternoon. But they need to get access to the house so that they can do something with the main board. So I don't know what they're doing. All I know is we've got a letter in the letterbox saying that they're upgrading it and they need access to the premises. Otherwise, they can't guarantee that we will have power on that day if they can't get access to it. So I was like, well, I don't know if Shane's got any driving lessons for the truck on that date, so I've had to take a day off. So I can sit at home during this time with no power. So I can't watch anything on TV. I won't be able to make a coffee. I won't be able to cook anything to eat. It's going to be a fun day. So I know I'm going to be stitching, so I'm definitely making sure that my tablet's fully charged. like I said, luckily we do have a barbecue. I'm hoping there's enough gas in it. So if needs be, I suppose I can boil some water on there to have a coffee. There's no way I am going all that time without a cup of coffee. It's just not heard of. But like I say, I don't know how much gas we've got in there, so I may have to look at getting a new gas bottle if need be. Now my luck will think there's plenty in there, and then I'll put it on to warm the water up and it'll conk out. Did that to us before. We had a power cut here from Storm, so we were using the barbecue, and we literally lit the barbecue. 30 seconds later it ran out of gas, and there was nowhere open to get gas bottles from because everywhere got a power cut, so we couldn't get any. Which is generally the case. When you need something, you can't get it. So, I don't mind anyway. Gives me an extra day stitching. Which would be good for Mania. So I hope everyone's having a good Mania, by the way. Like I say, apparently this is a... I've never even knew it was a group. I just heard everyone saying Mania. And what plans and that they were doing. So I didn't know it was actually I think it's a Facebook group or something like that. And this is the actual last Mania that they are actually doing. So it started in 2015. And this is going to be the last one that they're actually doing on Facebook, I think. So this will be the last Mania ever. So I think everyone's going full throttle on it. So if you don't watch Creativity by Gidge, Amy, she posted on Instagram that she's going to be starting 31 projects, all full coverage, I believe. So one project a day. She's wanting to put 1,000 stitches in each project. She is absolutely crazy. But I like her style. I like Amy. I get on well with her. So yeah, so if you're interested in watching someone doing crazy Mania things and you're not already watching Creativity by Gidge, then I suggest you may want to head over there. So I think she's going on she did a year of no starts last year, and then was kitting projects up to start for this year. And I think the last time she counted up or something like that, she was going to be starting something like 120 projects this year alone, of all the ones that she'd got kitted up and bought, and it's just crazy. I say all the full coverage pieces I've got I thought was enough, but obviously not enough for her. But yeah, definitely go check out, see what she's doing. She's just uploaded, I think it's about 4 hours worth of videos, because she's been off for a while. Her kids were off school, I think, and Hobby was on holiday, on vacation. She was off. She's not done a video for about 2 months, so she's posted up like 4 hours of video, I think she said. So that's going to be fun to watch. Like I said, luckily for me, it's a long weekend, so I'll get my popcorn out and get my coffee and sit and watch her videos. I'm actually starting to get the hang of actually watching something while stitching. So as I say, I've been watching the Marvel stuff and managing to stitch at the same time. Guaranteed I don't get as much stitching in as normal because I'm too busy watching what's going off on the screen. But I am kind of getting the hang of it. I mainly just listen to what's going off, and then if I notice something exciting going to happen, then I'll start watching it. So yeah, now obviously with the Marvel ones, there's always something going off, so it's like, ooh, I watch this bit, and then, oops, I watch this bit, and then it's like, I've not done much stitching this hour. Oh, well, never mind. But I think everyone's like that. they get into watching something and then the stitching kind of gets put to one side because they want to watch what's going off on the TV or on the tablet or whatever. So yeah, I can never watch floss tube while stitching because then I would never get anything done, because I'd be too busy watching the projects and see how they've progressed and making a list of what I want to buy. So yeah, so that's not happening. So fair dues to all those who can listen to floss tube while they're stitching, because I definitely can't. I'm hoping you can see these stitches okay. They look alright. I think you can see them alright, aren't they? Oh, now someone did ask us, there's another question, so I don't know what I've done with that question. Someone asked how I got my stitches, how I managed to get my stitches so neat. And that's that is, I have no idea. Where's a stitch? I don't pull them really tight, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I'm assuming it's all to do with tension as to how neat your stitches look. I just make sure that I go the same direction all the time. And don't pull it really tight. Especially on 28 count, because you pull it too tight, the stitch kind of disappears and you can't see it. But yeah, I'm gonna say. So, how my stitches are so neat, I don't know. Not all of them are neat. You'll find the odd ones where you look at it up close and you, oh, that stitch doesn't look very good, or that stitch definitely doesn't look good. I think mainly doing 1/1 is a lot neater than doing 2/1. Because 2/1 you end up getting your threads where they twist, and if you've not caught it, you end up with a funky looking stitch. Unless you do obviously railroading, and there's no way I'm doing a full coverage piece railroading every single stitch. I know some people do, but no, it's not for me. And to be fair, I've tried railroading before and my stitches still look exactly the same as what they did. Not doing railroading, so I don't bother with it. It's like just a waste of time for me. But good on you if that's something that you like to do, railroading, but it's definitely not my cup of tea. And you can't even see what I'm stitching there, so I do apologise. Right, I'm going to get to the bottom of this section here, and then we'll call it a day. We're already at almost an hour. I've got a little bit to cut out from where I was telling the boys off for fighting. That will do. I'll put this back up here because that's where I'm going to be. Right, so there we go, guys. So, not done too bad. Done a fair bit down here today. So, let's see how many stitches it says I've done. So, I've done 143. That's not bad going, I don't think. Assuming I've marked them all off. If I think I have. So, yeah, 143 stitches, so not bad at all. So, that's my start on Whitetail Winter. So again, guys, thank you very much for watching. Again, any questions for any future Stitch With Me's, then by all means do let me know. Drop those down below, and I'll get those questions saved, and then I'll answer in my next one. Someone asked as well if I will show one of my new starts as a start for my Mania ones as a Stitch With Me. So I will do that one. I'm just trying to remember what pieces I said I was going to do. So I've started the Mammal 1. I've started this one. I've got my White Tiger, which is the one on the brown fabric. And what was the other one I was going to do? I've got them right down. Oh, the Humility one, which is the lion. So it'll be either the lion one or the tiger one, which I will start for you on one of my Stitch With Me's. this month. I don't know when I'm going to do that one yet, so just watch out for that one. But again, if there's any other projects you want to see me working on, then by all means do let me know that as well. Again, you can contact me as well on email. My email address, as always, is dizzystitcher@gmail.com, and that will be posted down below. And again, you can always send me messages as well on Instagram. On there, that's Dizzy Stitcher. But that's it for today's Stitch With Me. So as I say, any questions, comments, please feel free to drop those down below. And hope you got plenty of stitching done. I hope your stitching goes well for Mania, if you've got any plans. If you haven't got any plans, then hope you get plenty of stitching done in the month of May anyway. So until my next video, whether it be my update or my next Stitch With Me that you watch, take care, stay safe, and happy stitching. Till next time, guys. Thanks for watching.